In this episode, I will share a story of a man and his crazy Filipina girlfriend. If you have not subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel, click the like button so we can spread the truth about this country. Don't be lazy. Here is the story. I have worked and lived part-time in the Philippines, and I agree with what you are saying. I currently live in Angeles City and Hawaii. I'm retired and moved there after meeting a bar girl there in 2022. On my last return home 5 months ago, I decided to get back to Hawaii and live at some point. It is much cleaner, nicer, and safer here. Of course, the worst ones are the bar girls, but not always. This one, though, was a pro. 30, single, no kids. Or, so she says, she might have had one and let it be raised by the rest of the family. But I don't think so. So not having kids does not always mean they are great, haha. She married a guy from the USA 3 years, then returned to the Philippines later, divorced from a very wealthy ex-husband in California. I think he gave her anything to keep her quiet. Told me that he bought her a $30,000 purse once. Yes, crazy shit should have left then. Many red flags ignored. I have dated strippers here in the US before, so I'm not a newbie with working girls, and I have lived there in the Philippines before. I actually had a long-term girlfriend here in the US, but after 7 years, we separated. With this girl, let's call her B. I did all of the wrong things, ignored all of the red flags, and everything. She was a master manipulator, made you feel good, and like she would make a good partner. Borderline personality, people make you their favorite person, all makes sense. I realized a long distance relationship would never work, so first I stayed there 3 months, then I retired a little early from a good job in the US and moved to the Philippines to the apartment she rented for us. We lived together 1 month and 2 terrible episodes of anger for no reason at all. At the last one, I just packed everything of hers up by the door. When she came to make up, she was surprised to see everything she owned in boxes. Fortunately, no physical violence. After 1 month living together, I realized that she has some serious psychological problems. From reading the internet, it came up as borderline personality disorder. I even offered to get her some help. She said, "Why? I'm not crazy." I moved there to be with her, and she claimed to have had a green card from a previous marriage. She had came to take care of her sick mom and never returned to her husband, and he filed for divorce. Now I know why. I lost 20,000 USD or more supporting her, fixing her house, supporting her family, and on one of her brother's house projects, more money. I think the truth was the whole time we were together, she had been talking with a younger 19-year-old guy. He's from Germany, Austria, and living with her now in a house her ex-husband bought her in AC in an exclusive area. She definitely was keeping her options open and claimed to have met him while I was in the US supporting her. What a bitch. Afterwards, I still have the apartment and was just playing the para lifestyle until I met my current girlfriend. It took a year to find a sweet, honest one. Hope it lasts. I am with a 19-year-old girl from Samar now. She goes to school here for nursing and lives part-time with me and her family in AC. Everything is a different from night to day. From the last girlfriend, this girl is sweet and does everything to support me. She was with a younger guy in his 30s who cheated on her. Doesn't mind me, 53. Of course, it's about survival in the US. She wouldn't date me. Okay, this man is at least honest about his story. He's right, she would have no interest in him if it wasn't about survival. But seems like this man knows what he's doing. At least he understands the situation with these bar girls. He knows that it's about money, and seems that he has some money, which is fine. This is the difference that I'm trying to tell you people on this channel. I don't mind people, and you shouldn't either, that pay to play. It's fine. Spend money on whatever you want. This man is even comfortable dating strippers. Who cares? Who are we to judge? But at least he knows that they are strippers, therefore he can plan for the situation, for the relationship, psychologically, financially, emotionally be prepared to walk away from psychos like this one. The issue arises when women lie, when they tell you what you need to hear just to be in a relationship with you. That is the whole point of this channel, to try to warn you. Just because they are young and are interested in you does not mean they want anything except for money. Now, personally, I would not be doing what this man is doing, getting involved with people working in nightclubs, bars, strippers, all of that. But some of us like that excitement. They like knowing that lifestyle, that type of living at night, drinking, enjoying our life. Who knows? I'm not one person to judge someone for the way they live. However, I am here to tell you there's a lot of deception that goes on in these relationships, but this man seems to know at least what he is up against, and you should be as well. Anyone coming here thinking they're going to date a 19-year-old that's in nursing school with a 40 age year gap that's just going to love them because they're a nice guy is clearly fooling themselves. No matter how poor that woman is, at some point she will have access to more opportunities. She will grow up and become a woman. She will no longer be a teenager, and she would want her own life. She would want your money. If you are married, she'll get a divorce. If you're not, she'll cheat on you simply. Anytime a woman dates someone with a huge age gap, they're always keeping the options open. And stories like this are nothing new at all. It happens all the time in this country. Women have anger problems and throw temper tantrums and call it tampo for a reason, because they are not happy with you. They are not happy in that relationship. Of course, when they're spending your money, when they're taking it, having parties, buying clothes, new phones, electronics, going on trips, feeding their girlfriends at Kenny Rogers or Jollibee's or whatever you want to call it, yes, it's fun and games when they come home late and they say, okay, I just have to sleep with this man once a day, probably, maybe twice if he's really has his libido. At least I get all that money and don't have to work. But at some point, the reality hits. That ticking time bomb actually explodes. Women do have a biological clock. Maybe you live longer than what she expected. Maybe you are not worth it anymore because now she has had a taste of the good life. She's lived all of her fantasies and her dreams. She no longer really cares about your money as much. Plus, there are 20, 30, 40 other men in her DMs and her inbox and her Instagram, TikTok, Facebook pages offering her money, giving her money, and now she's found herself someone 30 years younger, so why would she stick around with you? These are some important topics to remember. This country is great in some ways. It has many beautiful things, like the nature, even with the pollution and trash. Maybe the island life is great. Maybe the fake smiles are good enough for you if you come here for a month or two. But if you're living here long term and you actually want to have a relationship with some of these women, it can be very challenging. It is time to look at yesterday's best and worst comment. Space Force Cook says, for many in the Philippines, they do not think of you as human. You're just a walking ATM machine. And why they have no problem exploiting you. However, there are usually signs. The signs often comes out if she wants to buy something or wants money and you tell her no. Yes, it's very clear what they want from you as soon as you say no to them wanting something. Not to mention, there are simple things that they do that should be red flags. If they automatically go to the most expensive restaurant and order the most expensive thing, that should be a red flag. Any normal human being would not do that to someone else. Out of courtesy, out of trust, out of just human decency, it's the normal thing to do to just order something that you would want to eat and not just go for the most expensive thing, just use someone else's money. If she brings multiple friends or even one more friend to a date, that's obviously a red flag. Why would someone bring someone else on a date? Don't think because they're traditional or they want to feel safe, you're in public. It's complete BS. It's just an excuse to use you for money. If they say there's something wrong with their phone, it's bullshit. So what? How were you talking to me and others this whole time? There's nothing wrong with your phone. Keep that in mind. These are signs that should not be ignored. The only reason why you should ignore these signs is if you just want to sleep with these women. At that point, why even bother? Why not just pay half that price and just pay for play? It doesn't make sense to me why these men want to feel like they're saviors when actually they're being taken advantage of. It's time to read yesterday's worst comment. Before that, there's one more I want to read from user who says, as a foreigner, you have no rights. Most people don't know that. It is very true. If we come to this country thinking you will be treated the same way you are back home, that you have the same rights, that you have the force of the law behind you, or just simple right and wrong, you're mistaken. It is not like that in this country. You'll be taken advantage of. You are a target. Every turn you make, you are a target. Remember that. This is yesterday's worst comment coming from Alan Brown, who says, "You do not know the truth in this case. This man was not proven innocent. The child's comments are not more than hearsay. His payment of compensation is close to admission of guilt. You don't know this truth. It's good to stay close to your child, but stay out of normal humans' lives of a nation of 56 million plus women, of who there is less scammers than their trash garbage of the Western world. Only dickheads and perverts or losers seem to meet up here in the few bad eggs in the Philippines. Suck it and princess, you fucked up. Stop slandering our beautiful people. Here, face your personal dilemma. Love your blessing of a child. Forgive the greed of desperation of the partner you impregnated. It's usually Western creeps that find themselves in these situations. Admit your own shame, expecting so much from economic victims of the Western world. You have been blessed by creating a new life, a fool that needs to accept his own failures. Big tick. If you say stay to be close to your child, stop blaming an entire people for your own failures. I've never once blamed other people for my failures, sir. You obviously don't know what you're talking about, because here's the truth. Anyone that had done what that previous man said he had not done would not be out here sharing it out of the blue for no reason. He would not give his full name, complete details, and share his story with that depth. It makes no sense. You do not have common sense or any logic. Why would someone, a predator, let's say, come out of the blue randomly and try to share an entire story of something he didn't do? What is the purpose of that? It makes no sense at all. And you're saying that he did nothing wrong, and by paying, that he admitted basically, by paying compensation, you've obviously never been to the Philippines. I don't know what you're talking about. If you ever lived here, you know that money talks, and just because you are right doesn't guarantee you freedom. So clearly, you are the one that's mistaken. Your entire comment is hypocritical. If you don't like these videos, simply do not watch them. This is not for the Pinoy people. This is for foreigners and expats and trying to warn them not to make the same mistakes. Thanks for watching. God bless.